I don't know.
Okay, so do you guys want to start with opening statements?
Yeah.
You sure?
Okay. So do you want to start with your opening statement first, or do you want us to start with our opening statement?
I mean,
you guys
what
go
would be the opening statement like? Like, what do you mean by that? Do you mean like we state like the views of what we have about the subjects that we're debating?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I'll
I
go
mean-
first because I already have mine like prepared.
Yeah,
You
me
want
too.
me-
I can go right after, so then y'all can
Okay.
just, you can start with rebuttals if you want.
I'm a strong believer in the fact that no one should be scared to not identify as the gender they were assigned at birth because of ignorance coming from many individuals. I believe that if it has nothing to do with you and is not harming you, then there is no reason to not respect the ideal pronouns of our brothers and sisters. I believe that we the people should mean everybody. There is no exception or excuse to exclude a transgender person from fighting for our country. With Pride Month, I believe that members of the LGBTQ plus community should be able to celebrate the perseverance that they have obtained while fighting for their rights, and it should not be any straight persons, aka the people who fought against gay rights, place to tell them when they can and can't celebrate.
And mine. I am strong in my position that there are numerous genders far surpassing the amount of sexes. I believe if a transgender individual who is mentally stable, they should be able to take advantage of their opportunity to join the military alongside their cisgender counterparts. And I believe Pride Month should be a reality as pride is an ideal in American culture, and the same pride-oriented trait should be able to hold true for LGBTQ plus members.
All right. You can go, Eli.
Hey, did you go first?
No, it's cool, Eli.
Hey, ladies first.
All right, so I stand on basically I believe only transgender should be in the military unless if they are fully mentally stable and have been mentally stable for plus 3 years, because obviously mentally unstable people cannot support on the battlefield whatsoever, and I believe it's very wrong to let them in. I do not believe that I should have to change basic biology just because you believe that you are the gender that you were not assigned at birth and change your chromosomes when you biologically cannot.
Okay.
I'm a firm believer that everyone has the right to get married to who they want to. So, I mean, I have no problem with this because I believe in separation of church and state. So I have no problem with gay marriage. And I also think that there should not be a Pride Month. I think that there should be like a Pride Day or like a Pride Week.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think that transgender people should be allowed in the military because a while back, not that long ago, transgenderism or gender dysphoria was named as a mental disorder, and now it's named as a I think it's a social what do they call what is it deemed now?
No, we get what you're saying. Yeah.
It's deemed as something else now, which I
Yeah.
don't really agree with it. I think that I don't believe that gender is malleable, but I also believe that if you think you're something, just don't force it on me. Like if I don't want to call you what you think that you are, I don't think that I should have to do that.
Well, I would like to point out right now that legally you do not have to, but it is kind of a part of respect.
Part of being a good citizen.
I mean,
but yeah, of course you don't have to. Of
It's
course,
not
I'm gonna
hard,
put
but
that on you. Yeah.
okay, let's organize it. So let's start with genders.
I mean, I believe it should I believe that we should just start it off with the easiest, which is Pride Month. You think we should start with?
Okay,
Huh?
I mean we have it in order this way, but I can just go down.
Yeah, we can start with Pride Month. It's all good.
Okay, I can start on Pride
people are
Month.
going off at me in the comments in the chat.
So I believe that there should be a Pride Month for the people who actually had to struggle to fight for their rights. I personally am bisexual, and I think that no one should have to be scared that they're forcing the person that they love on other people. I think that's stupid, and I think that just like if a guy and a girl kiss in a movie, no one complains about that. But if a girl and a girl kiss in a movie, it's some whole big deal, and I just think it's really disgusting and
yeah, and I don't believe that the idea of a straight Pride Month even compares to the idea of a gay Pride Month or an LGBTQ
they didn't have
plus
to fight for
month.
anything.
Yeah, because let's talk about the definition of pride. Pride is confidence and self-respect as expressed by members of a group, typically one that has been socially marginalized on the basis of their shared identity, culture, and experience. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't believe straight people have been oppressed or marginalized for anything in general.
They didn't have to fight for any
I
rights.
mean, if you were straight and you were a slave, then I mean you were
Well, that's on the basis of race. That wasn't on the basis of
Yeah,
you
that's a
being
whole different subject. People of color have a month as well, so
I mean,
that doesn't need to go into a whole.
you also said that.
No, that's a logical fallacy though, because you're taking a
No,
race, and we're talking about sexuality.
I'm
I think it's
saying that
important-
that straight people were not oppressed at some point, and I mean, some people who were straight were oppressed at some point.
But they
not
weren't
for being
oppressed
But they weren't
because
oppressed
race.
for the main reason of being straight. They were oppressed for a different factor
for
of
different
themselves.
reasons. Whether that's nationality, race, ethnicity, whatever it may be.
So I believe that if
Gender.
Pride Month doesn't bother you, then you should let people celebrate the fact that they're open and out about it, because it's hard enough already to come out about it. So there shouldn't be people telling them what they can and cannot do. I just think that's stupid, and it has nothing to do with them. So.
All right, so I'm going to comment on the fact of how you believe that there should be a month. Now, I believe a day would be perfectly fine, just as how we have a day for 4th of July. I believe that, don't we have parades on that day? Don't we have everything like that? I believe that the day should be the day that we allow gay marriage in our country. That should be the day that we should have it. It shouldn't be an entire month. The reasoning is because, first off, yeah, you had to come out as a gender is what you are. Yeah, maybe that you were discriminalized for a little while, but we only give, so I believe that we just gave veterans the month, which is right, because they have to give
veterans actually have 2 months, May, November, and if y'all cared so much about veterans, if y'all cared so much about veterans, then you guys would know that. I feel like if y'all veterans are oppressed.
It's not as months. I think what she's saying is just it's not as hyped up as gay pride.
Yeah, well, it could be if y'all want to be. If y'all really want it to be so hyped up, hype it up. Like,
and it's
no
also
one's stopping you.
It's also important to note that 4th of July is a completely different circumstance in the sense that that's the day we gained independence, and that's why it's on 4th of July. And it's also important to note that the veteran months, the 3 that have to do with veterans in general, are nationally recognized months. Gay Pride Month is not a nationally recognized month on a federal level, and it's not like like I said, it's not recognized on a federal level as all these veterans months are.
Yeah, but Pride Month was
if you want Veterans Month to be recognized, recognize it.
My bad. Go on, Sophie.
I do.
Yeah, I'm just saying no one's stopping you from making Veterans Month or Veterans Months plural a big deal. So if you really love it, if you really like it, if you really want to support our veterans, make it a big deal. Post stuff. Make marches. Like, it's not that hard to make a march, gather some friends, and these people are having a Pride Month because they care about people like that, and that's a community that we shouldn't take away from them and be like, oh, you can only celebrate on this day, because it's not our choice, not our place to tell them that. Not anyone's place to tell me that. I don't think that anyone should be able to tell me when I can and cannot celebrate that I am bi-curious. I don't think anyone should have a say in when I celebrate, and I don't think that should be anyone else's opinion. Well,
Sophie, the entire idea of you saying that people shouldn't you shouldn't be able to present your pride, is that I'm guessing that's what you're trying to say, but you could represent your pride any day. I just believe that a day or maybe even a week would be practical, because
the day that we celebrate everybody.
Is the day that was nationally given the right. The day that was nationally given that right should be the day. Such as you saying 4th of July was the day that you were given independence, but on I can't remember the date that it was decriminalized, but the date that it was decriminalized was the date that you had the right to marry someone that you wanted to marry.
So here's the thing. I'm going to comment on this. Our Independence Day is one specific thing. We have been fighting for rights on several different days and have been given several rights on several different days. Yes, the day that gays were allowed to start marrying is very significant, but it's not the only day that pertains to that. And the history of Gay Pride Month stems from the Stonewall riots, which was a singular day, but then it formed into a whole month of activities. So that's the history of that, and that's why it's a month. No one was just like, let's give them a month. It actually formed that way through history.
Yeah, I mean, for sure.
America fought for their independence too, and I think that there should be like equal days for that. And I mean, they both fought for what they believed in. So I think that there should be both days.
We recognize America as a whole
every single day of the year.
There are a lot
So-
of American-based holidays.
Every day's America Day to
Yeah.
most Trump supporters. You have to admit that because y'all's America first kind of thing.
Because I'm a very patriotic.
No,
Yeah,
no
but
one's
I
telling
don't
you not
think
to be.
that homophobicness is patriotic.
Where did
I'm
that
not a
don't
homophobe.
I don't think that
so.
taking away from someone's Pride Month gives you more of a Independence Month. I think that they can be equal if you really want that, but you don't need to take away from someone else's month just because you don't like it.
We're taking away
There's
29
no
days.
valid reason to want
I
to
want to
take
make
away
America Month.
There's
July
no-
is America Month.
every day is
Well,
America Day.
it usually
There's
we
no
do
valid
celebrate.
reason.
We do
to take
we
away
do celebrate
Pride Month.
American. Sorry, we do celebrate
There's no valid
American-based
reason to
activities.
take away Pride Month and use that as more of America Month. If you want America Month, make it America Month. Make a petition, sign it. I don't care, but don't take away Pride Month because you want more.
And it's
Give
also
back
important to
them.
recognize
That's
that
the one
all of
thing that
these,
we have.
all of these days that do revolve around America are nationally recognized. Gay Pride Month is not nationally recognized on a federal level.
Yeah, on a federal level, but on a social level is what it is.
On
pretty much
a social,
really scary.
completely different.
on a social
They're
level,
completely
different.
it is very like open and out there.
Here,
all the
wait,
time.
let me
So
reply on
That's
that.
not
question-
true. That is
wait, can I
not
say something
true.
real quick?
My question with that is, it being accepted on a social level, why is that wrong?
That's not it. That's
It being
It's
I
not
never
wrong.
said
First
I
it
of
don't
was.
think.
all-
I never said it
I
was
said it
wrong.
was.
First of all, it is not accepted because there are so many people that tell me I'm a sin for being bi. So, like, first of all, it's not accepted. That's the reason why we keep having this Pride Month, because we are trying to spread awareness that it's okay to be who you are, and it's okay to be attracted to someone that's not normalized, apparently, to Trump supporters. This month is to give them recognition and to give them a chance to actually be able to stand up for themselves and say, I love who I love, and it's not anyone else's decision. This month is their month, and we're not going to take this away from them because we don't agree with it completely. This is why it's not completely social, because a lot of people actually do disagree with the month, which is why we are spreading awareness and need to have the month.
Can I talk real quick? Okay, so when did you guys ever have to fight for rights? Tell me this. Now, when were your rights revoked? When you were given your rights for marriage? Yes, but the right for marriage is also always male and female, female and male. All right, those were always the rights. You were never taken away the right to marriage, because if you want to really know what it always was, it was mainly more what it is now is a right as what we're putting it as now, but what it used to be put as was a privilege. It's a privilege to be in America. It's a privilege to do this. It's a privilege to do that. There's many different ways. Tell me, when did you really have to fight for something that was being revoked from you to love who you love? I never
One big area.
One big area. Female, but when was it a right to marry a female and a female?
Same-sex marriage.
One big topic: the Stonewall riots. That is a huge area in which you had to fight, and people died that day. Secondly, you could have been killed before for being gay in America. It was not specifically illegal, but you could still get killed in other places as well for being
Same with
LGBT+.
LGBT
It was
community in
considered-
general.
Yeah, it was
very
a lot
you
of
can
trans
still
women.
get killed today. You can still get killed today in other countries just for being gay.
A lot of
I mean, not in
trans
America.
Yeah, and Trump is trying to
in America, that's not true.
Pride Month
That's
is
not true.
No,
In
Pride
America,
Month is
so
is
many
nationally
trans women get
recognized.
shot just for the fact that they're
Internationally
trans.
I don't think you understand that Pride
18
Month is not
last
just in
year,
America.
The solely fact that they were trans.
Yeah,
So
Pride Month is not just in America.
discrimination in America to LGBTQ plus people, that is completely false, because the people that you see on the street holding up signs that say you're a sin if you're gay, come back to the Lord, that's not a fucking Christian. That's not a Christian. I'm a Christian, and I do not support anyone telling me what I can and can't do and what I can and can't love. God is love.
I mean, just because
God
they're
is not-
expressing their religion doesn't mean that they're not what they claim to be.
Y'all
And I know
say-
that.
y'all
And
say
I know
they're
that. And I
forcing
know that.
our sexuality
hear me
on me, then they're forcing my religion on me. Like what?
I mean, all
I'm
right,
They're not
so
forcing their religion on
I'm
you.
bi, and God
That's
still
exactly what
loves
they're
me, and I don't want anyone else to come and tell me that I'm not loved by God.
She completely does
I
have
have
a point.
no-
You
I have
always
no
talk
problem
about
with
don't
that.
push your sexuality on us. Don't push who you love on us. Don't push your gender on us. But when you go to a gay pride parade and see the wall of Christians standing there telling us that we are going to hell, that is pushing your religion on us.
I mean,
when does their sin automatically become like less than mine? Like, I don't understand. If you lie one day, how is that all of a sudden like, oh, you're still a good Christian, you're still going to heaven, God still loves you because you're a conservative. But if I'm a liberal who's pro-choice and LGBTQ plus, why am I not going to heaven if I just made one sin?
Yeah, there's no such thing as a good Christian. Now let me put that out. Now, me as
There is not. Yes.
I don't. Personally, I don't care about religion a lot, but I am forced to go to church. I don't care a lot about it. But okay. So let me put it out this: the biggest sin, people going out and saying gay is the biggest sin. No, that's completely untrue. And people who do
It's
say
blasphemy.
being gay is a sin, anything that the biggest sin is taking pride in a sin. Now, that's mainly why they go out there. Now, I do not support that whatsoever. I don't support Black Lives Matter. I don't support Blue Lives Matter. I don't support anything like that. I don't support
You don't support Black
I
Lives
don't
Matter?
support any Lives Matter crap, because honestly, the way that any of that stuff is put out, even the sinning crap, it's used with violence and crap that I do not completely agree with without
So you
the
think
entire.
that standing up for people's lives is crap?
Well, no. Personally, I believe what they stand
The
for,
way they
but I don't
represent it
believe
is
the way
what she
that they
said.
represent it. I believe white privilege is real, 100%, because it is real. But let's look at it this way, all right? But let's look at the way that it is, the way that they represent it. Look at St. Louis. That's the way that they represent it. I don't support Blue Lives Matter, just the way they represent it too. It's the way that they represent it, not what they believe in, the way that they represent it.
What do you not like
I
about
believe
the
we
way
need
that they
to wait.
represent it?
Hold on. I would like to make a clear distinction between how the program itself, the program owners, are pushing their message versus how people are doing it in their name. If someone does something in my name and says I killed you because of Amber Almanza, that does not mean it had anything to do with me. If someone kills someone in the name of Black Lives Matter, that has nothing to do with me. If the person who is running the actual organization kills someone, that's a different issue. But nothing is happening like that at the program's level.
Yeah, but the way that it's used as in violence, I don't believe in any
The way
crap
that
like
it's
that. I don't
used
believe
as is
not
standing up
necessarily.
for the
St.
rights of
Louis.
people and making
That's not
awareness and
inherently
spreading
true.
awareness to that. That
Look at
shouldn't
St.
be
Louis.
anything to make to shame on.
And
Look
we're
at St.
getting
Louis.
People have
off
the
topic. We're
exact
getting
same
off
rights.
topic. We're
Yeah,
getting
Black
off
alright,
people
let's
and
go
gay
back on
people have the
topic.
exact same rights as me.
and we had to fight for those rights. And,
I mean,
and
so do
still-
Black
and-
people.
Tell me, one sec.
And they
Do you
and
have a
people of
source?
color have a month.
Do you have a source that tells me exactly that straight people had to fight for the right to get married? 'Cause
Were
I
you
wanna
guys
see
ever
that.
beaten with a whip?
I
Have
never
you,
said that.
Have you guys ever been told
So
that you
the
were
point
cotton
of
pickers?
Pride
Or
Month
have you
is
guys
that-
ever been told to this day that you guys are cotton pickers? Have you guys ever been had racist words be torn at you still to this day?
That's
such
a
as the N-word?
choice.
No,
Yeah,
no,
it's a
That's
choice.
and that's
It's
if you want to
also
wear a MAGA
we-
hat outside and you get discriminated for that, that is a choice that you're making. No one can change the color of their skin or the color of anything. They cannot change who they're attracted to and who they actually are on the inside. You cannot compare that to a political affiliation. That's just dumb.
how did
No,
I
it's Michael
how
Jackson.
did I put that towards a political affiliation?
Because you said that if you're conservative, you're gonna get called racist. Like that's your
I never said
opinion. If
that.
you're conservative, you can change that. Someone cannot change the color of their skin or who they're
And
attracted
about what you said, where you ever did
That's
this when you were
inevitable.
speaking about people of color. That's why people of color have a month, because they had to fight for their literal rights as well.
Yeah, they got beaten with whips and
Yes,
they
of
they
course.
killed. But let's
And
look
I
at how long
understand.
that was compared to how gay people were. That and how tell me how
It's
pretty
a
much
ridiculous
every
fallacy.
gay
That's a
person.
fallacy that you
Tell
are
me how every
comparing.
gay person was beaten with whips completely.
Excuse me. It happened all throughout history. You could have been killed for being gay. You could have been when you were gay, you were deemed a witch.
Yeah, and same thing with pretty much everything. You could be called as a witch for anything, pretty much anything people put you out to be is horrible. Anything.
Hey,
can be
that's
bad.
and that's why we
Some of these
recognize the
things are
Salem witch
inevitable and
trials
some
and
of
the
these things
witch trials in
aren't.
Germany.
If I'm vicarious,
You guys are
saying
talking.
all-
Wait. Like you guys are talking over each other completely.
Here, okay, that's why we recognize things in history, such as the Salem witch trials, the witch trials in Germany, because we recognize those things because people died for no reason. And that's why we recognize the month for POCs.
Amber,
because-
turn the chat off. I can't see like half of the screen.
Because
Yeah, like
they-
one of the best female generals was literally killed for being a witch or being a witch.
Yeah, exactly. So that's why we recognize those things in history, and we have months to recognize marginalized groups of people who fought for their rights.
The reason that we don't have a Republican
Yeah,
month
but we
is
fought for
because
independence and we
you
got
cannot
murdered.
you can choose whether to be Republican or not. You cannot choose the color of your skin or who you're attracted to. So because of that, because people got discriminated for who they're attracted to or the color of their skin, that's why we're celebrating the fact that they had to fight for the rights of something that they cannot change. You can change if you want to be Republican or
That's
conservative.
actually
You can
it's actually
change
not true that
if
you
you wanna
can't
wear a
choose who
MAGA
you're
hat.
But
attracted to.
neither of us are saying because we're liberal. Like, I live in Texas. Let's get that straight. I'm the only liberal in my area. Not liberal. I'm the only leftist in my
Yeah,
area.
I live in Virginia. Like it's no one likes me here because I'm Democrat. Like I have like a few Democratic friends. That doesn't mean that I'm all of a sudden oppressed because I'm a Democrat. Like what? I'm oppressed
I
with
never
something
said
that I
that
cannot
any of you
change.
guys
And
were
neither of us-
racist. I never said conservatives would be called racist. Personally, some conservatives really make me, like other conservatives, make me not want to defend any conservatives on racism, sexism. I don't defend any political party on any shit like that because I know there's people in that party like that. I never said that they were oppressed. I never said conservatives were oppressed. If you want to change your views, go ahead. I don't care.
Okay.
So then why did you say that?
I didn't.
Okay, well, I
think that got
definitely heard that.
misconstrued,
But
I don't know. Maybe like Eli said that. I don't know, but that wasn't me.
Maybe it got misconstrued. I apologize. But
No, it's
back to the
I
back to
think
the
maybe
topic.
we should get back on topic because
Yeah,
that went
back
like
to the
way off
topic
topic.
of-
We went to Black Lives Matter, then we went to history, and then we went to everything else. So let's get back on track.
I believe all of them are relevant in a sense. But back to Gay Pride Month. Basically, Pride is expressing your happiness about something you had to fight for. And when we had to fight for whether you believe it's a privilege or right, the fact of the matter is that we were not on the same level as straight people simply for our sexuality. It did not matter what your gender was. It did not matter what your race was. It only mattered that you liked another girl or you liked another boy, and that was it. Or you did not identify with the two main sexes that are misconstrued often when we talk about gender. So we had to fight for all of these things to be socially accepted. And in some places, it's still not socially accepted. So that's why we have Pride Month.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, yeah, I do believe that we should have something like a week or a day.
Why
I do
don't you
believe
want a
that
whole
you guys
month?
should.
Why don't-
Okay, but I do
What
believe
is the
you guys
difference?
should have the recognition.
Yeah,
of what
what
you
is the
guys
difference
fought
and why
for.
does
But
it
I don't
affect
believe
you?
the entire
I'm
month is really worth it.
You don't think
Well,
it's
so
worth
you
it?
can say the same thing for POCs.
I mean,
But
yeah,
I'm
you can
not-
say
You
the
could
same
say
thing for
you could
everyone.
say I don't think veterans are worth 3 months. But
I
did
really
I
don't.
know? Because I really don't care. It really does not affect
Yeah,
me.
we could literally say that. We could say veterans are only worth 1 month or a day or a week.
Or a
I
week.
mean,
yeah.
I only think veterans are
You-
worth a day. I mean, a month.
Until it affects you, I don't want to hear about it. You know what I mean? Like until the fact of like how long the time span is affects you, then I don't think that you should care about it or like that
I
should
mean-
be like one of your priorities.
I mean, I want to know how that wouldn't affect me or anyone, pretty much any in here.
How would it affect?
How is Pride Month affecting you?
How is Pride
How
Month
is it affecting you?
affecting you?
Because I'm going out to
Because
Pride
I'm
Parade
bi and I want to be
celebrating
able
the
to go
fact
to as many
that
marches that I
I
can.
am no
I'm
longer
bi too.
oppressed. Great.
No,
well,
you're
then you
not.
should,
Yeah.
so why?
Okay.
So
I
why
don't
are
believe that it should be a month, though. I believe that it should be a week or a day. I don't
So
believe
what
that
is-
an entire month is worth it.
I want
You
to know
don't
what the
believe your own
difference is.
community should get to celebrate for as long as they want to? That
I don't.
what?
I mean, hey, you guys can go on the streets. Well, we all can. All right, I worded that wrong, but we can pretty much go on the streets any day and go with the pride flags any day. We can go with any flags, and we could say, "Hey, we believe in this." Same thing with that Black Lives Matter does. Same thing.
Then
with
why
the
does it matter
Lives
to you?
Matter.
Why does
So
it
You
why
matter
can
does
to
it
you?
literally
matter?
put a gay pride flag on the back of your car.
So
Right,
why
but
does it matter to you?
You're using organizations that you don't believe in order to justify your argument, which I think is one, wrong.
I
And
think
two,
I don't know why
yeah.
you're discriminating your community to how many weeks or days they should have. Like if it's
and
your
I want to know.
community-
I simply want to
Support
know.
it.
Then let's give it a year. If you guys really want that, let's give it a year. Let's give it every day. Let's make everything every day. Does that sound like it would work?
I don't
No.
necessarily believe. I believe it can be proud any day, but I believe
This is
Pride
how we're
Month is
recognizing
justified.
it. We're
Yeah.
dedicating a specific month to recognize a specific issue.
Yeah.
So why would we make the whole year it?
What if
But
we
you
get? What
guys
if we
say
gave
did it
them
as a
29
recognition
days?
of the
You guys are
Stonewall
saying
Pride.
that we could
Stonewall
pretty
Riot.
much make every day, any holiday. We could do that any day. We could recognize everything, anything, any day we want. You can recognize anything, any day. But why we give
Agreed.
something a specific day is the day that we would recognize it the most.
Not necessarily. So what is that? When does that come into play in the 3 veteran months?
I don't believe
That
we should have
specific day in which that happens.
but all right, so let's put it in perspective. All right, so veterans, they go out and they fight for lives just for safety, such as people who fought in World War II.
I
A lot of
fight for the
people
fact
died
that I
just
can marry
for
my
our
own
country not to
sex.
be taken over
And
by
also,
Greater Germany.
no one's trying to take away veteran month. You're the one. That
Yeah,
said that
like
we
y'all
shouldn't
get so
have those months.
defensive. We never said we want to take it away.
In
But
fact, I
I'm
believe that they
saying of
should
why
have
we
those
should.
months.
Of
I
why
believe
we
they should have those months. No one's saying they have 3 months. Let's take them all away. In fact, we're fighting for them to have that month. As the same way that we're fighting for LGBTQ plus members to have Pride Month.
Yeah, but I don't think a month is worth it.
Why?
Why?
I told you.
You said one sec. You said you were bisexual, right?
Yeah.
So why do you want to tell your own community that they aren't worth it? Like
Okay. So
that
I
just
don't
doesn't make sense to me at all. I'm like trying to
Personally,
understand
I
your point.
I don't believe the entire idea of giving veterans 3 months. My dad's in the military. I don't believe that entire idea. That's stupid. I
How
don't
does it
believe
affect
that.
you?
Interesting.
All
Like,
right.
why is it your problem? If we want our
Yeah.
month, let us have our month.
Yeah,
Like, it shouldn't affect
Unless
you.
I would understand if people in gay pride parades were going out and punching straight people on the street and saying, I'm gay, you're
Yeah, that's what I'm
inferior,
saying.
but no one's doing
I
that.
mean,
But
I'm
I
a
don't believe
ginger.
how a
Why
month is
can't I have
worth it.
a
I
Pride
mean,
Month?
you guys were
Did you ever
killed,
have
but
to
let's
fight?
look at
Did you
how
have to
okay,
fight for
let's
being
look
a
at how many
ginger,
people,
man?
let's
Did
look
you
at
ever-
how
Okay,
were you
many
ever
people
to
from
rape
Ireland were
people
taken and
let's
made
okay,
slaves.
all right, Amber, look
And
up
we
how
have
many
a POC month.
look okay.
So I
look at
mean,
how
Did
why
many
this
can't we
man
have
really
a?
just
were
compare
killed.
his hair
Why are we
color
confused? Why
to?
aren't we confused a month? How many of them were killed?
I'm sorry, can you say that again?
Okay, so I said, all right, Amber, can you look up real quick how many gay people have been killed? Look up how many people of color. Actually, I'll look it up for you. You guys can keep the
So
name.
many.
I don't know if I
When
can
you
stop.
are LGBTQ+,
Wait, can we
you
look
are
up how many redheads have been killed?
No, please.
I think
Okay,
that-
I want to say this right now. I want to make it extremely clear that if you are LGBTQ+, defining in either category, you are statistically more likely to be killed for your sexuality. You are, like, if you're trans, I believe that a rate increases exponentially. If you're gay, I believe it increases by about
No
one.
one's gonna kill someone because they're straight.
Yeah. In fact, there's a law protecting if you get into bed with a trans person and you didn't know they were trans and you kill them. It can be you can use self-defense as a reason as to why you killed this trans person in bed was because you didn't know and then you killed them. That's disgusting. Yeah, I don't understand like that. That's
Who in their right mind would ever do that?
it happens, and that's
So
why that law is in
stupid.
place. And
It
that
happens.
Yeah, that's why that law is in place.
All right, so I'm gonna
That's
look
so
up
weird.
20. No, I'm
Why
gonna look
would
up
you do that,
2017. So 380 in 2017 of gay people. Now let me look at people of color in 2017. My bad, because that's the most recent shit I can
How is
find.
this relevant?
It's not relevant, but that's the most recent thing I could find, possibly. I mean, we
No.
can always go back.
Why is the amount of gay people versus POCs matter?
I've told you reasoning. All right, so I told you I'm gonna go look back on how many POC people have been killed and how many gay people or LGBTQ people have been killed in each year, and I'm gonna see, and we're gonna put it together, and we're gonna see really is it really worth it to give them a year? Well,
it's very important to recognize that no one's trying to take away the month for POCs.
I'm talking in not POC. I believe that they should have a month. I'm talking Pride.
So why does how many people have died matter?
I mean, all right, then you guys saying, well, people have been killed over these times. That's why we should give them a month. Is that just completely destroyed your entire argument?
No, they've been killed. They've been oppressed. This is our entire argument that they have been killed. They've been oppressed. They have had their rights stripped away from them. Has that ever happened to a straight person for being straight?
No.
Exactly, that's the point.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah, I don't believe in a straight month.
Well, yeah, no one's advocating for that either, but that's what we're saying. That's why we have the Gay Pride Month, because people were marginalized, oppressed, killed, and had their rights stripped from them just because they were gay.
Like I told you, that's disgusting. I mean, same thing with so many other cases. But I don't believe a month is worth it. I'm not trying to take away the fact that you guys have maybe a week of Pride, a day of Pride, but I don't believe an entire month is really worthy.
What's the difference? What constitutes how much time we should have said month, week, or day?
I mean, yeah, but then we could just pretty much give it to every day.
That wasn't the question.
Give it to any day.
Yeah, like it wasn't a yes or no question. She said what constitutes whether we should have a month, week, or day.
Nothing does, but in the case of
that's what nothing does.
That we can
nothing
give it to
does.
any day.
Nothing does.
And that's
why it's just as valuable as.
I believe we need to recognize the history behind it. We weren't just like, give us a month because we were oppressed. Do it right now. It happened for the Stonewall riots and then formed to do a month of festivities because of the Stonewall riots. We weren't just saying, hey, give us an entire month because we want it. It was because of the Stonewall riots, which transitioned into an entire month of activities. We didn't just decide that out of nowhere. There's a reasoning behind it.
Yeah, but let's look at ours. So how many Jews were killed? We don't give them any month or day of recognition. How many of them were killed? About, I'm not completely sure on that. I'm not that good with World War II shit, but I'm pretty sure around millions of them were killed.
Around
Jews?
3 million.
Yeah,
but
no, it was significantly more than that. And we do recognize Jews. There are still anti-Semitic
They don't
people
have a
today.
whole month.
That's what we also learn about it in history. Do you ever wonder why Hitler is one of the most known figures in American history? Because we recognize it so much.
because he is one of the reasons that so many Jews were killed. Same thing with, but we recognize him more than people such as Kim Jong-un. He literally lets people starve.
Agreed. But
I
don't
don't
think we
believe
should
that
be
Hitler
comparing.
should be.
That's
I'm
also
gonna be honest with you. I don't
we
believe
should
Hitler
not be
should be given the
comparing the
recognition that he
struggles.
given.
I don't think we should be comparing the struggles of marginalized groups of people to justify the taking away of a month of another group of people.
Wait,
The same
can
thing
you
could be
repeat
said. I don't think we should be using different marginalized groups of people to justify taking away from another marginalized group of people. Because if we're only acknowledging people's struggles to take away from someone else, that's not good.
But tell me how it is oppressing you today, the fact about how you have to come out of the closet to your family out of that. How does that
Because people today are still, LGBTQ plus members are still being killed, kicked out of their house, oppressed, beaten up by their peers for coming out.
Yeah, and there's so many other people that are too.
I don't think you're going to get our
We should,
point.
again, I'm going to go back to this point again. We should not be comparing the struggles of marginalized groups of people. We should not be using the struggles of marginalized groups of people to justify the taking away from other marginalized groups of people. For example, you were saying how people are discriminated on for their race? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay, for their race. We should not be using racist remarks to POCs to justify taking away from marginalized group of people that are still also oppressed today. If we're only acknowledging one group's struggles to take away from another struggles, it's not a good thing, and that's disgusting.
Yeah, for sure. I just don't believe that it deserves an entire month.
Okay,
but,
you know what, guys, we should really move on from this. She's not going to get our point.
No, I agree. We should find as much common ground on this as we have. So we do acknowledge that we should have some recognition, or LGBTQ plus members should have some kind of.
Yeah, our common ground is that
there should be some recognition.
Should have recognition.
All right. So that's about. I believe that's as much common ground as we're gonna find. But
yeah, I'd be perfectly fine with 2 weeks, but an entire month is just
what's
crazy.
it?
No, I got you. That's where we're gonna find common ground right there. Is that we should have some sort
of. What about 3 weeks?
Pride 3 weeks. Yeah.
I don't understand. I'm not gonna. Yeah, I just don't understand how it's different.
Wait.
Y'all are spewing out random amounts of time. We have agreed behind the what. That's literally.
We spent about a good 30 minutes on this. I think we should switch topics.
Yeah. Okay, so
let's.
Do you want to do trans people in the military or the gender debate?
Let's do the gender one.
Perfect. Okay.
All right.
So,
you want to state your guys' standpoints, or you want us to state our standpoints?
You can go. I'll just
We stated our opening statements first, so we'll let y'all start on this one.
Okay, so obviously I don't believe that we should change basic biology just because you believe that you are a gender that you are not, because you want to claim membership of a gender that you really aren't.
I think. Oh, sorry, Eli. Go ahead.
Yeah.
I think that you cannot biologically change your gender. There is no way to fully change your gender. You can think that you're a certain gender, but you are just not the gender to which you claim.
Amber, can I start on this one?
Wait,
because you can never really get rid of your all your chromosomes. You can never really get rid of all of your genes. You can never really get rid of. You can get rid of your genitalia, but that's just that's just a genitalia. You still have your cells in you, and you still have your chromosomes.
Okay. How many genders do you think there are?
Can I reply on something real quick?
2.
On the genders thing, okay. So on the genders thing, so a social construct, yes, there's such thing called a social construct, but it is way more widely accepted that there's 2 genders than there is. A social construct is basically basing something off something that is more widely accepted. And
I'm gonna point out this right now. It is called a social construct because we cannot physically look into people. I'm gonna start off with this actually. When you say biology, you are ignoring parts of biology to justify other parts of biology. I hope you know that biology does not have to only do with what is in your pants. It also has to do with your brain chemistry, which is where gender comes from. Gender and sex are separated because sex has to do with what is in your pants and cannot be changed. Gender has to do with what your brain chemistry says. We cannot look into people's brains and say what it says. So we depend on these people who are experiencing these gender dysphoria, dysphoric thoughts to claim what they are for themselves. There's no way we can physically look into their brains, but we can trust them and just trust gender specialists to tell us that these people have gender dysphoria. And then at that point, they can choose on the spectrum what kind of gender they want to identify as.
Amber,
that is why it's a social contract. It's a social contract because we cannot physically identify what people's gender is just by looking.
There's been a study done by healthcleanlingclinic.org where trans brains identify the same as what they identify as. So when we look at the transgender brain, this is in quotes by the way, when we look at the transgender brain, we see that the brain resembles the gender that the person identifies as. For example, a person who is born with a penis but ends up identifying as a female often usually has the same structural characteristics of a female brain.
But you still do not have the chromosomes that meet up with your biological gender.
I'm gonna go off this again.
Okay, so the entire statement of that is I don't believe that you should be able to change your biological gender just because you believe you're a boy.
You know, a lot of people are actually
let me go off
born.
this again.
I don't believe that's
Let me
right.
go off of this again. Okay, let me go off this again. I'm going to go off of what we just said again. You are ignoring other parts of biology to justify how you think about one part of biology. Again, sex and gender are not interchangeable. Gender has to do with what your brain chemistry is. Sex has to do with what's in your pants. The reason we know people's sex so easily is because we can literally look and know. When it comes to gender, it is what's going on in your brain, how your brain is formed, how the chemicals in your brain are reacting. So when you say you cannot change your biological gender, you are saying you cannot change your biological sex, which I completely agree with. You cannot change your chromosomes. But when it comes to gender, that is what's going on inside your brain. That has been scientifically proven.
But there.
Okay.
I mean, that's exactly what
I
I'm
don't
saying. In your mind, you can
believe
think
that
you're.
Can I say
in your mind,
something?
you can think that you're something else.
No, it's
But
not what you think. It's not what you're thinking. It's literally how your brain is structured and the chemicals
Your
in your brain
brain.
that
It's
go
how your
with.
brain is thinking.
No,
Can I
it's
say
not
something?
that you want
Like,
to.
okay,
Like if I think
so
It has to
if
do
I
with the
think I'm
amount
a
of
wizard, can I
testosterone in
become
your
a
brain.
wizard?
It has to do with how much testosterone is going through your brain and how much that masculinates who you are. Yeah, how masculine you are.
Okay.
Can I say something?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, thank you. So sex and gender are different because of these reasons. Some people are actually born with the different sex that is not male and female, and that's why you can't base off the chromosomes as a person because of what they identifies as gender, because sex and gender are different. There are actually more than two sexes, and it's been scientifically proven. There's woman 46XX, men 46XY. There are monosomies like 45X and 45Y, and there are polysomies like 47XXX, 47XYY, and 47XXY. So because of that, you cannot justify the amount of chromosomes someone has, because someone, if they have the amount of chromosomes and they want to identify as intersex, they actually could also have the chromosomes that identify as intersex. So you can't justify what you think somebody looks like because of how many chromosomes you think they have, because there are different things going on in someone's bodies. Like someone could have a monosomy or a polysomy, and you can't say, oh, they're definitely a male because you think they look like they were born a male. So my point is, you can't justify someone else's gender because of what they look like.
And I'm also just gonna, since you were talking about brain chemistry and science and all that, it has to do also with the part of biology you were speaking about, what's in your pants. When it comes to the amino acids that link up inside of your SRY gene, which is in your Y chromosome for males, even the changings of a single amino acid can cause someone who has XY chromosomes to develop as a female in every other aspect. Even though they're still XY, they're not intersex or anything, just this link of their amino acids changes how they develop in their brain and as a person.
Yeah, but biological. Okay, so you're saying that I'm ignoring biologically. All right, so when
No, you're ignoring parts of biology to justify.
You're ignoring science.
I'm ignoring art. So I'm ignoring the sex. What's in your pants? I'm guessing you're saying.
No, you're ignoring parts of science. What has to do with up here versus what's happening down here is what you're using.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah, go on.
Do you believe that there are two genders?
I believe that there are two genders because, all right, so a social construct is something that is, all right, so a social construct is something that is way more widely accepted, and it is way more widely accepted that there's two genders than there is the entire, okay, I got a question for you guys. Do you believe that
I wasn't able to answer your question. So
can I let her ask her question?
Wait, no, because I haven't got to make my point yet.
Okay.
Go real quick, Sophie.
So I asked you if you thought there were two genders. I was going to say something back to it. So basically, in genders in general, there are different things people can identify as because of how they feel in their brain and what God or whoever you believe in put in their brain. So I'm going to explain to you the different types of genders, just so you are aware of what we're talking about. Male, female, transgender, which is someone whose gender identity is different from the one they were assigned at birth, might identify as transgender. Gender neutral is the idea that policies, language, and other social institutions should avoid distinguishing roles according to people's sex or gender in order to avoid discrimination arising from the impression that their social roles for one gender is more suited than another. Agender is denoting or relating to a person who does not identify themselves as a particular gender. Pangender is a non-binary gender which identify refers to a vast and diverse multiplicity of genders in the same individual that can extend infinitely, always within the same person's culture and life experience. This gender experience can either be simultaneously or over time. Non-binary or genderqueer. Non-binary or genderqueer is a spectrum of gender identities that are exclusively masculine or feminine, or not exclusively masculine or feminine, excuse me. Identities are outside of the gender binary. Non-binary identities can fall under the transgender umbrella, since many non-binary people are identified with a gender that is different than their assigned sex. Two-spirit. Two-spirit is a modern pan-Indian umbrella term used by some indigenous North Americans to describe Native people and their communities who fulfill a traditional third gender ceremonial role in their cultures. Third gender. Third gender or third sex is a concept in which individuals are categorized either by themselves or as a society as neither man nor woman. It is also a social category present in societies that recognize three or more genders. So basically what this is saying is that the studies have shown that no matter what culture you're in, the genders will change. So gender is basically a spectrum, meaning if you identify as more of a female and you feel like you're more of a female, but you kind of also feel like you could be kind of a boy, you can identify in the middle, which is like whatever you want to call it. Some people will call it like agender, pangender, but I think that we should be respecting the people that don't want to go by she, her, or he, him, and we shouldn't really have a problem with what if they're not a boy or a girl. I don't really think that should be in our hands and it is our problems. So I think that I think that if you're not she, her, or if you're not a non-binary person and you are fighting for a non-binary person's rights, then that's okay. But if you're fighting against their rights or saying that there are two genders, then I think that you shouldn't have an opinion on someone else's what they identify as, because I think that's rude and I think that's taking away the rights of what someone wants to identify as their choice and their choice in America.
So just because I'm not for it means I shouldn't have an opinion on it.
No, I don't think you should be
that's
expressing.
what I'm saying.
I don't think you should be expressing that opinion because it's not your choice.
And I'm gonna base off of that. What she's saying is that one side, the side that are fighting for these in favor of these people, are not oppressing and marginalizing them. The group that says there's only two genders are marginalizing these people, and in turn making them have increased suicide rates, increased rates of depression, all that. It's actually proven that the direct link to being transgender or identifying with a non-binary gender, the suicide rates of them are actually directly linked to people not accepting them. And that could be their peers, their family, their friends. So I think it's important to recognize that gender dysphoria in itself is not debilitating. It has to do with what happens after that and what causes issues after that.
Okay,
So, I mean, if I accidentally misgender you, you're gonna go kill yourself.
Accidentally, no one's gonna
So,
Here's the
okay,
thing,
Eli,
no one said that. We didn't say you're misgendering. Here's the thing, there's a difference. There are trans people being kicked out by their family. That's much different than you going up to a trans woman saying, "Oh, hey, sir," and they say like, "Oh, I'm ma'am."
Yeah, you're kind of making fun of the point that if someone's transgender, then I make the wrong decision. Like most people know what they're doing, and if you're not sure, ask. Like you don't need to make this whole big deal out of it. Just ask. Like it's not. Just say, hey, what do you want to identify as? Like, just wondering, I don't want to call you anything wrong. That is the respectful thing to do as a citizen, as a person, as a good human being. I don't understand why it somehow is out of your way and somehow some big problem. I think that you should just deal with it and ask them. And if you don't feel comfortable asking and you just call them the wrong pronoun, then if they correct you, use the right pronoun. It's not a lot to ask for them. And I don't think that you should be just saying different things because of what you believe.
But
okay,
that's a feeling.
Wait, Eli, can I
That's a
borrow
feeling.
feeling.
Facts don't
That's
care
not a
about your
feeling.
feelings.
That's what
That's
they are.
That's not a feeling.
It's not your
That's
place
the
It's a
to
feeling.
tell them
They
what they
feel
are.
that they are
Okay,
this, but they're
let
biologically.
Feel what they are. They are that gender.
Hold on.
If they're assigned
It
something
has been
different
proven.
at birth and they transition into a different gender, that's what they are, and that's not your place to tell someone what they are and what they are not. They don't.
Let's go off of.
They are that. Not your place. And you
Okay.
come out and
Hold
tell
on,
a
I wanna
transgender
respond to
person
this.
what they are.
Let's
Okay,
go
can I
off
talk
of
real
facts.
quick?
Wait,
I
can
wanna
I just
respond
reply
to
to Eli
this
real quick?
entire-
I want to reply to Eli real quick. It'll be really short, I promise. So, you said facts don't care about your feelings. It isn't scientifically proven that it has to do with your brain chemistry, not how you think, not how you feel. It has to do with literally your testosterone levels and a gene in your brain that determines it. Secondly, if we're going off of facts and you don't want to call someone the right gender because you think that that's how they feel, you should not have to go out of your way to respect how they feel, which is not a feeling. I'm sorry for that, but even if it was, the increased suicide rate in trans people has to do with the fact that people aren't accepting them. So since we know that, knowing that, wouldn't you want to help decrease these rates by simply respecting them, even if you don't agree with it?
So if I call you
Okay.
by your right, if I call you by your right pronouns, that'll just fix everything.
Yes, that's called being
If we start
socially
calling people
accepted.
by their
Yes,
Okay,
don't
let
make
me
people
reply on
very
this
childish.
You're not
This
marginalizing
is nothing
people.
to laugh about. It really
you're
isn't.
No,
You're not
I'm like,
marginalizing these people anymore. So yeah,
Sophie, I'm not laughing at that. Like, I'm laughing at what Eli said, because I'm not trying to be a dick, but I kind of thought what he said wasn't that right. But all right, so I'm replying this entire situation. So what I'm saying in this entire crap is that, okay, first off, now the UCLA has came out with a study about, I'm not sure when, it was a little bit ago, but they came out with a study saying that it would not change the fact that transgender people, when you pretend that they are the gender that they want to give.
Did you just say pretend that they are the gender? That's what they are. You don't get to decide what they are. You don't say that they're pretending that they're a gender. That's what they are, and you don't get any. You don't get any decision to say what they are and what they aren't. If they think that they are that gender, if they know that they are that gender, then you have no right to say that they are pretending to be that gender.
And you're also you're ignoring the fact that calling someone by the right pronouns fixes some, yeah, but it doesn't fix it entirely. If I call my son or daughter by the right pronouns, the ones that they want to go by, but then I say, okay, I'll call you that, but get out of my house, you're not allowed to live here, that's a whole other issue. Not accepting trans people is the issue in itself. That doesn't have to do with one specific topic. We are trying to come up with these technical solutions to these adaptive problems, and that's causing more problems.
All right,
just make sure you choose your words carefully. Don't say pretending.
All right,
ever.
So being the gender that they are, sorry, worded that wrong, but being the gender that they are, that they want to be, going off of that, they came out with a study that it would not change the fact. We're trying to change the fact right now with we are letting people be the gender that they want to be, which the suicide rates have not gone down. The suicide rates are 40% in the transgender community, which is crazy. No. Wait, let me talk, Amber.
I got you. I'm sorry.
In the UCL school of, that's in LA, I'm pretty sure, but it came out with a study with the fact that it would not change the fact if they are they are a boy or they are a girl, what they think they are. Well, not what they think they are. I'm sorry, I don't want to pronounce this wrong. What they know they are.
Mm-hmm. Okay, here's the thing. Yes, we are accepting these people widely today, and that is completely valid. That does not take away from the fact that families are still kicking their trans kids out. People are still getting bullied at school. They're at an increased rate of being bullied at school for being trans, and they're still having privileges, as you say, stripped away from them, like using the proper bathroom when it does not affect anyone. There's not been a single case in which a trans person has gone into the improper bathroom and assaulted someone. You are afraid of straight people pretending to be trans and going into an improper bathroom. You're not afraid of trans people. You're afraid of these straight people who are pretending to be. And bathroom signs do not stop anyone from assaulting people. If a grown man wants to go in and assault a young child, the sign that says this is a woman's bathroom is not going to stop them. It never has and it never will. So all these problems that we're like, oh, but we're protecting the younger generation, we're protecting ourselves. You're genuinely just, you're not protecting anyone except for your intolerance.
Okay, so, all right, wait, I can't remember what I was going to say. But wait, one sec. Here, Eli, can you respond on that real quick? I can't remember what I was going to say.
What?
Can you reply on that real quick? I can't remember what I was trying to say. I'm going to try and remember. Oh, wait, I just remember. Okay, so tell me how, like, America is put out to be this racist towards, that we are racist towards Black people, still to this day, such as using derogatory terms such as that. But the suicidal rate in Black community is so much more lower than the white community. No, the Black community is so much more lower. And let me keep talking. So how come the suicidal rate is so much more lower in first world countries than it is in third world countries? Tell me how suicidal rates is pretty much defined basically on class. Suicide seems like a privilege of class. Now, when I say that, don't take it into the wrong perspective saying, oh, well, it's a privilege to kill yourself. No, I'm saying that it seems like of how on a financial level that it seems like a privilege of the people in the upper class, not necessarily like lower middle, stuff like that. Higher.
Okay. Oh, sorry. Okay,
Go on.
so it's important to recognize that correlation does not equal causation. The rates in themselves increase due to the oppressions put on the people themselves, not because of their race, not because of their class. That can definitely be a key indicator, but that's not specific to the situation. Causation does not equal correlation. People do not kill themselves because they're black. People do not kill themselves because they're white. So it's important to recognize every factor that goes into why someone commits suicide. As to, I'm not sure if the white suicide rate is higher. I know more white women kill themselves, and we can say more white women kill themselves because men in general are told to keep in their feelings. That is the correlation to the causation of that situation. However, when I'm not sure if the rate's higher, and correct me if I'm wrong, but there are significantly less POCs than there are white people. So that could also be a key indicator as to why you are the white suicide amount is higher than the POC suicide rate.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that she's basing off of it overall, basically. Yeah, I know the POC rate is about 14% went up in the past few years, and then the white community is, I'm pretty sure, like 54%.
Of, what do you mean?
I think I might not be right, but I know the black community somewhere in like maybe 14%, somewhere around there.
Isn't the transgender community 46% of them commit suicide?
40%.
Yeah, it's really high, and that can be directly linked to how we are mistreating these trans people and not respecting them. So, like I said before, gender dysphoria in itself is not debilitating. It has to do with the mental illnesses that can come from not accepting these people, which they are at an increased rate of because they're already experiencing gender dysphoria. It can be directly linked to depression within trans people, anxiety within trans people, et cetera, because of the experiences that we are putting people through by not accepting them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. I just don't believe that I should modify the fact. Okay, so where I stand on biology in this entire stance is of where you're modifying basic biology by changing your gender because of
You can't pick and choose biology.
Let me go back.
To cope with their feelings.
Let me go back again and explain this because I don't know what's not coming through. Anyway, you are taking parts of biology and saying, oh, biology says so, and then ignoring the other part of biology and science that says that sex and gender are not interchangeable. Sex has to do with what is in your pants, and we know this. You cannot change what is in your pants on a chromosomal level. We know this. When it comes to gender is going on in your head. It's not how to do with you, how you feel or how you want to be. It literally has to do with your testosterone levels, what kind of genes you inherited, all of that. It literally is not changeable. So when we say, oh,
your mind does not regulate your chromosomes. It does not regulate your cells inside of your body. It does not regulate your genitalia.
Your chromosomes are what for the gender that you are. That's what creates the gender that you are.
Sex and gender have been scientifically proven to not be interchangeable. When I say interchangeable, I don't know. I'm trying to get where I'm going wrong here. Interchangeable means that they are not the same. Sex and gender are two completely different things. Gender having to do with what is going on in your brain, not what you're thinking or whatever. Like you said, it has to do with what is literally going on down to a amino acid level. When it goes to your genitalia, which is also having to do with amino acids, so many factors can also affect that. Like I said, the SRY gene in males can be affected if even one amino acid is changed. It can cause this male to develop in other ways as a female, while still being a male biologically.
I mean, yeah, the first few weeks of pregnancy, all people are females.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, but I'm saying when
if you put into your mind that you are a cat, are you suddenly a cat?
It's not what you think. It's literally how your genes and testosterone affect your brain.
Your genes and your testosterone are not controlled by your brain. They are controlled by the gender that you are.
I'm sorry. I don't think you know how that works. Your genes have to do it's the genes inside your brain. I don't know. Yes, your
genes are what you inherit from your family.
I want you to
in your body.
Okay, I want you to know that testosterone is a chemical and it comes from your brain at some points, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong, but all chemicals and neurons and nerves come from your brain. Your brain sends signals to your body. Whether they come from it or not, your brain sends signals to your body to create these whatever it may be. Testosterone, when your stomach rumbles, all that, that's not relevant, but it literally all comes from your brain and your genes having to do with how it affects your brain.
I mean, I can't just stop my testosterone levels. Like I can't just say
My point
like
exactly.
stop. I can't just say stop.
My point exactly. Same for trans people. It has to do with their testosterone levels. They cannot stop it. Just like you can't stop it.
Yeah, same thing of where are apparently that. Okay, so let me put this into perspective. Now, I don't believe in fucking conversion camps. That crap's whack. But
Yeah, that's
what I do
stupid. You
believe
don't need
in.
to
Okay, so we tried
electroshock
to
them
put
into
effort
thinking
into
that they're straight.
fixing
That's
their
stupid.
ideal
Whoa.
of growing
You're both
heads
talking at the
around
same time.
50s. We tried fixing that so much in the 50s, but around then we weren't as technologically able to then, and we just thought, all right, so let's just pretend that they are what they are. And that what they think what they are, we should go by. All right. But I believe if we really wanted to do it, we could put money into it. We could work on it, such as we have pills such as antidepressants to help people who have depression, bipolar, all the nice kinds of depression. I wrote that wrong. Nice kinds of depression. I shouldn't have said that. But all the types of depression. Now, Eli smirking. But
Age, I can tell you that they are not happy.
Yeah, that's why I said that. I worded that wrong. But all right, so in the 50s, we put a lot of effort into that. But now that we are more advanced in that kind of department, such as science, let's say, and biology, we could definitely put some stuff towards as, remember when people pretty much, I can't remember what it was, but we pretty much just didn't give a crap if you were mentally ill, such as you had depression back in the day. We thought, oh, you can't fix it. But now we came out with antidepressants, which people do pretty much rely on to be happy.
I would also like to point out the fact that they're not the same. When it comes to antidepressants, yes, but you having antidepressants literally covers your depression, doesn't cure it.
Yeah, it covers
it doesn't do that. And it's with conversion therapy in the past and now, they have both proven to be equally as ineffective. So nothing is
like I said, I don't believe in conversion.
We never defended that.
Yeah, but she was comparing it to conversion therapy and how we have new technology now. It's never been proven to be effective. I think it's very important to recognize the fact that having antidepressants does not change the fact that you are depressed.
But it helps.
No, it literally just covers it up. It literally fixes it. Sends more chemicals into your body. I don't think okay, antidepressants, as someone who I'm not gonna go into anecdotals, but antidepressants literally doesn't make you happy. It literally just puts new chemicals in your body that counteracts the fact that you have the chemicals causing depression.
Yeah. I turn out time.
Same thing with ADHD meds.
It helps.
Yeah, exactly. So what is your suggestion with this comparison, this false equivalency in the slightest?
Trying to put effort towards stuff as such as a pill, like I said earlier. I don't believe in conversion camps. That crap is retarded. Okay, I shouldn't have said retarded, but
no, you're good.
Whack. And putting into perspective, we could definitely put something that could help. Now, like I said, me when I say antidepressants, you saying that it covers it. I'm saying that it helps with your depression. Obviously, antidepressants helps, but it doesn't cure you. Such as we could try and put more scientific, we could go and put it back into perspective, see what we could do about it, and help them more, such as the suicidal rate is really high and it's really lack.
Okay, and that's, I'm not even going to go into the fact that that's a false equivalency in all of it. Yeah, it's a complete false equivalency, what you just said. However, there are similarities within the false equivalency, like the fact that we do not go to people who have depression and are on antidepressants and say, yeah, you're just pretending to be depressed. So we're going to give you these pills that counteract that, and then maybe we can make it all better. We don't do that. These people still have depression, and we widely accept that. So it would be the same for trans people.
Yeah, it doesn't change, but it helps.
So you want to give trans people a pill that makes them less trans or covers up the fact that they're trans?
All right, how do it's hard
and
to
who is that? No, and I get that. And who is that helping? I want to know. Because
it's helping the fact that they want that. Okay, it's helping the fact of how they have a chemical in their brain of where they think that they're the opposite gender of what they are.
Okay, and here's my thing.
I mean, if they choose to take that, they can.
And here's my thing with that.
I mean, if they make a drug that does that, then they can change that. If these people want to take it, they can.
So again, is that helping your intolerance or the trans people who are going through this and we're literally telling them, you need to take this pill because we don't want to accept you? Because there's nothing inherently wrong. There's nothing inherently wrong with being transgender. There's nothing inherently.
You are modifying the fact that you are a boy or you are a girl.
My question. So this pill that you are,
in your brain.
This is
But that
this
doesn't
is
modify
completely
the fact that you were given the chromosomes of what you are given. That's the thing that decides the gender that what you are.
Two things. I'm going to go back again after I say this.
I know.
You're saying you're saying here's this pill. Yeah, here's this pill that is going to help with your gender dysphoria, which is a false equivalency when you compare it to depression, because depression is not in itself debilitating. So you're not really solving anything. You're literally just I don't know how to say it. But again, hold on. I'm going to see if Sophie responded, because Sophie's been texting me and said that her computer died. So I'm going to let her back in. Okay.
Age, I don't really agree with everything you're saying. I think that these people should be allowed to do what they want to do, but I just don't think that we should be roped into it and have to change our mind to think that biology
You
changes.
don't have to change your mind, dude. Biology back again. And it should be just a basic thing to respect people, whether you agree with them or not. I don't necessarily agree with people who are conservative, but that doesn't mean I don't respect them. Secondly,
I mean, then you should agree with people who believe in the KKK. Then I mean, because you should respect
because
them.
they're hurting
do
people.
you
That's
respect them?
such a false equivalency. Such a false equivalency. The KKK is killing people. When has a trans person gone out and killed people for being straight or cis, whatever?
Cisgender. I've never heard of that.
Cisgender. It just means that you identify with your original gender.
Wait, cisgender. What is that again?
It just means that you are the gender you are that correlates with your sex. That's all it means. Anyway, back to biology. I'm gonna go over this again. You are taking parts of biology and ignoring other parts of biology. Let me explain. You are taking the part of biology that says what's in your pants is your sex. You're very correct. You cannot change your sex. However, you are ignoring the part of biology that says, hey, gender is determined by your chemicals that are going on in your brain and your brain structure. So when it comes to that, scientists have proven that sex and gender are not interchangeable. So when you say, oh, there's only two genders because boy and girl, you're talking about sex. That is what's in your pants. When it comes to gender, however, it's what's going on in your brain. Not what you think. That's what you said before. It's not what you think. It's literally your testosterone levels. Oh, sorry, Age. She muted herself. Sorry.
All right, sorry. I have a bitchy stepmom and she came out bitching.
But I mean, if they are a man and they have the man's testosterone levels, they can't stop their testosterone levels.
My point exactly. The same.
That's
the
only
same
intersex.
thing with trans people.
The intersex disease that you are like, is it a disease? It's a birth defect.
Yeah.
And that it goes in between. So I mean,
what's your point? Not trying to be rude.
I really don't know where I was going with that.
Oh, you're all good.
My mind kind of went blank.
Do you want to move on to trans in the military since we do gotta end this at 10:30?
Yeah. Okay. Let's find the common ground thing. But yeah, we can go on. Well, I don't think we have any common ground on this topic.
I don't think I could find common ground on that.
Yeah, like literally, I'm sorry. I'm not trying to.
I mean, it's cool if you don't agree with me. I mean, yeah, everyone has their own beliefs. Yeah.
But I mean, you need to respect the fact that we just don't agree with the transgender movement. Every time someone says something
like common ground, I just say it sounds like the most centrist person.
The only issue I have with it is that y'all are denying science. Yes, when it comes to biology, you cannot change what's in your pants or on a chromosomal level. That is so true. But again, sex and gender have been proven to not be interchangeable. There are so many studies that prove this. When it goes, my bad. When it comes to sex, it is what is in your pants on a chromosomal level, and you cannot change that. When it comes to gender, it has to do with your genes that are in your brain, the chemicals in your brain that are functioning in a different way than what is happening with your sex. They do not correlate all the time. Most of the time, they do correlate, which is, great. But when it doesn't, we can't just deny those people. Like the same way we don't just go, oh, you're intersex? Yeah, that's just a defect. That's not supposed to happen. Like, get rid of y'all.
Yeah, I mean, listen, my common ground that I could find with you is that I obviously do not believe it's right whatsoever. Not one part of my body believes that it's right. But if you really want to be called a boy, I will call you a boy. I don't believe it's right, but I will call you a boy.
Right, okay.
I mean, the man brain and the woman brain are significantly different.
Perfect. Trans people are proven to have the same brain or a similar brain to the opposite sex.
Yeah. I mean, all right, so let me put this out this way. But they're denying the fact of what the gender of what they were. Okay, so all right, so science. That's what's in the brain, all right?
I mean, they're significantly...
But what's the chromosomes is what actually made that our gender. What actually made that them their gender. And you cannot change your gender. Yeah, you could change your gender. Your characteristics. You could all right, when I say gender, I always like say gender when I mean sex or whatsoever.
Oh, yeah, you're good.
I just believe it's like easier to say that for myself.
Oh, yeah.
But when I'm saying that, I'm putting it out of perspective of where, all right, so what made you your gender, you are changing that, all right?
Mm-hmm.
But the chemical in your brain, that's what you characterize as. I mean, I could characterize as a cat if I really wanted to. Does that really even make me a cat?
No, here's the thing. I'm going to explain that in a second. I'm trying to email this to Sophie.
I mean, but there's like people who literally act like fucking babies or children.
Yeah,
we don't have a gender for that.
That has nothing to do with your brain. That has to do with how you prefer to. I don't even know. Here's the thing about that. When you were talking about
Exactly. Gender has nothing to do with your brain. It's what you think you are and what you think you act about.
No. It has nothing to do with people who act like cats or babies or whatever.
No, there's literally people who believe that they're in their mind. They think that they are children.
Cute. Okay, here's the thing. Gender has to do with the spectrum that falls in between the two prominent sexes. So when you say, can I identify as a cat? Can I identify as a talk helicopter? No, that's not a gender that falls between the two prominent sexes. That is what gender is. It's not, it's not allowing you to identify as an inanimate object. That's not how that works. It has to do with the sexes or the genders that fall between the two prominent sexes.
All right. Holy crap. All right, my bad.
Cute, but I'm just kidding.
Yeah. All right. You want to hop on to the other things, since we're probably not going to find common ground. I mean, our common ground is where I don't believe it's right whatsoever. But if you really do want to be called that gender, if you really do believe that, I'm fine with it.
Yeah.
I mean, we probably already even do have common ground, our trans in the military. Personally, why I don't get, to a certain extent, I don't care, because one of the arguments I can't get behind it is that more people in the military. Personally, I think it should be way harder to get into the military. First off, because if we put more money, instead of just putting more money into the people that we're giving it to the people who are in the military, we could add into how much money we are putting into our equipment for the people that are in the military that meets standards, that will meet physical body standards, that would meet just standards, overall mental health standards. Because if you are mentally unstable, if you've been mentally unstable for the past 6 months, well, all right, so the thing with the military, if you haven't been on antidepressants in the past 6 months, you can join the military, all right? But I don't believe that's right. I believe if you have been off your antidepressants like you've been cleared in the past, maybe let's say 3 years, I believe that you should be allowed in, because I don't believe it's right, because you can't support your team on the battlefield when you are not mentally stable.
Okay, and that's a completely different debate, but I missed the point. Please forgive me. Why don't you believe trans people should be in the military?
Because a lot of them are mentally unstable. I believe that they can be to a certain extent, but I believe it should be, how do I explain it? I can't explain it.
You feel like they should be evaluated?
Yeah.
All right. So I'm going to go first to the point that gender dysphoria, by definition on its own, is not debilitating. It has to do with the illnesses that can come from being not socially accepted by the people that are around you. So when it comes to people being trans in the military, when they say, oh, they have a mental illness, that is not a debilitating illness.
Gender dysphoria is not a mental illness.
Well, that's what people like to classify as. But that's what I'm saying. Whatever you want to say it is, it's,
20 years ago it was called gender identity disorder, but now it's called gender dysphoria. And originally it was made to say that you have a mental illness. Like if you have gender dysphoria, then you have a mental illness. And you think that you are the opposite sex.
I would like to point out that it's not thinking
I got a
anything.
question for you. What is that flag in your background? I got like a little perspective of it at the beginning, but I'm just really curious what it is.
It says any functioning adult 2020. Anyway, so I'm sorry, Eli, I missed the point. What was the point of that?
So gender identity disorder used to be a mental illness.
Right. Yeah, but how does that correlate with
it used to be determined as a mental illness. Now it's gender dysphoria, and it's not determined as a mental illness at all. It's considered as a social construct. It's considered to be the bonding of a social construct.
Yeah, so I don't see the point of where that correlates.
No, yeah. How does that correlate with trans people being in the military?
The military is to enlist people who are able-bodied and able-minded.
I would like to point
I
out again
see
that
it.
that people with gender dysphoria in itself, as you said, it's no longer considered mental illness. So what's the issue?
I mean, that doesn't change. It is still a mental illness. Just because the
In your
terms have
mind or in the
changed.
mind of science? Because I'm going off of what you said. You said it's not a mental illness. So if it's not a mental illness, what's the issue?
Since when people say it's not a mental illness, but 20 years ago, people said it was, or 10 years ago, people said it was. Now,
Okay.
automatically, it is because of people's feelings.
10 years ago, people said that gay people shouldn't get married, and they couldn't. Things change. As science develops, things change.
What does gay marriage have to do with anything in science?
I'm going off of your logic. Because you said that, 10 years ago, we said it's a mental illness. You're very correct. 10 years ago, we also said gay people shouldn't get married and that it's a sin and that we should not be allowing that in our America. Then when science came into the factor, we figured out, being gay isn't a choice. We know this by science. So let's let these people get married.
Science doesn't back up being gay, though.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does.
Yeah, it's actually not a choice to be gay or not whatsoever.
Hold on, I'm trying to, Sophie and I are talking and I'm trying to see, is this Sophie? I think that's Sophie. I'm gonna mute.
Hey.
Hopefully there's
Sorry,
Sophie. Hey!
My computer crashed. It's really
We're talking about trans people in the military now.
Okay.
Anyway, so back to the point about you were saying that it's for people who are able-minded and able-bodied. I believe that gender dysphoria, it's not I believe, gender dysphoria in itself is not debilitating. It's the illnesses that can come from not being accepted. So yes, when you go into the military, if you are trans, you should have to subject to the same background check as everyone else when it comes to mental health. I completely agree. But we should not be excluding people from the military simply because they are trans and we believe that they have some sort of mental illness that is debilitating, when that is inherently false.
a lot of trans people, after they've gotten their surgery, are all like their depression gets better, and like whatever mental illness that they were diagnosed with when they had gender dysphoria is now like different and better. So I don't think that after, like, the people that were recovering from mental illness should be all of a sudden discriminated from the military. If they want to fight, they can fight. Like, we the people for the people means we the people for the people, not discriminating or excluding.
I mean, just because people change like just because people change their appearance doesn't mean
it's not their
that.
No, it has
Yes,
it has a huge people
just
changing.
because people change their appearance doesn't mean
People changing their you really need to check up on the facts, because people changing whatever they people going by the right pronouns, I guess changing their appearance, people being called by their proper name.
I just asked if you could be a little bit more politically correct, if you.
And all these things are huge contributors to the fact that the people who have been diagnosed with depression due to gender dysphoria and the things that come after gender dysphoria can be suppressed. The same way that if you've had mental illness in the past but no longer are suffering from the effects of that mental illness, you can join the military.
All right, I got a question for you. I know this is kind of off topic, but I've been asking, I've been wanting to know this. Do you believe people under the age of 18 should have the right to change their gender?
Yes.
Yes.
But it's shown that I can't remember the entire thing.
It's actually
before they hit puberty, and if they define themselves as a different gender, some of them end up, and if they have their surgery, okay. No, I worded that wrong. Do you believe people under the age of 18 should have the right to have the surgery to change their gender?
I would also like to point out the fact that you're saying some people do detransition after they've had their surgeries in their youth, which is true, and that proves true for literally every age range. But it's also been proven that when parents listen to these people saying, "Don't let your kids change their gender at a young age," like, why would you do that?
A lot of kids say that they would have.
These children want to.
But if it's not their choice and they feel like that, and they change their gender, but then they change it back.
No, it's been proven. It happens for all. It happens for all genders. And I'd like to point out the fact that many children that are young children between the ages of maybe 4 and 10 end up committing suicide because their parents are like, "We're not letting you change your gender. You're too young to know that stuff." And then they end up killing themselves because of the lack of acceptance they have from their family.
It's been proven that the people that don't get their surgery before they're 18 are like more likely to commit suicide because of gender dysphoria. So I don't think that we should, like, if y'all like don't want people to commit suicide, then you should allow the surgery. Like, it's their choice, and I just don't think that you should be like deciding someone else's choice for them.
Yeah, but I don't believe just because they're morally about the fact of how they could go back and think, you know what, it'd be better if people who haven't hit puberty before, because they could detransition, which is honestly bad for them as a fact, because if they detransition after the fact that they change
how
their
is
gender.
how is transitioning bad for someone?
No, I'm meaning like, okay, what I mean by that is if you transition and then you have to detransition because you believe, what? I don't think I'm actually a girl. You know what? I don't think I'm a boy.
That is
But
never
yeah, I
going
made it
to be
like
a mental barrier.
if you did that in like say middle school and then you went all the way to high school,
Then that's their
and then
choice.
you go
It doesn't have anything
and
to
then
do
you
with
say, wait,
you're also using an extreme
I'm
minority
not the
to
gender that I changed my gender to be, so I'm back to the gender that I was.
No,
Then
that's a
that is
terrible
a
argument
choice.
because you're using an extreme minority, one that's less than 5%, to justify.
Yeah. Let's hop back on let's real quick finish and wrap up the topic of the military since we got about 5-4 minutes.
We can keep going a little longer too. It doesn't matter to me.
All right, yeah, I gotta go around 10:45. So with the.
No, yeah, you're good.
Well, I think that
military. What are your other concerns that are not mental health? Because
guys,
we've proven that mental health has nothing.
I gotta go in like 3-4 minutes probably.
Okay.
well,
we can wrap up then.
I don't think that it's someone else's choice on who should be transitioning and detransitioning. I don't really think it is. If it doesn't have anything to do with you, then don't worry about it. Like, I just don't think that if it doesn't if it's harming you, worry about it. But if it's not harming you or someone like you want to help, then I don't think you should be into it.
All right, since Eli has to go in about 4 minutes, you guys just want to real quick find common ground and choose some common ground on each topic.
Yeah, for sure.
We already found common ground for the rest, but
we found common ground on the first one. We couldn't really find common ground on the second one. So this one.
To start next, then I believe that it should be kind of harder. Such as if you've been diagnosed with depression in the past 3 years, you first off have to be off your antidepressants in the past for 3 years. And I'm pretty sure if you have any recorded cases, if you want to join the military, you can't have any recorded cases of you being into mental institutes or whatsoever.
I have depression. I take antidepressants, but you still take, I don't know if you know this, but you still take antidepressants even after you've been like kind of cured with depression because you want to stay on the right track. It's not you don't after you don't
it's just for the military. You have to be off antidepressants for 6 months. For 6 months.
So a lot of people they don't stop taking their antidepressants so that the depression doesn't come back.
Yeah, I'm just.
I would know that
about the fact about how so the government. Well, the military. If you really want to join the military, you have to be off those antidepressants for 6 months. All right. I believe that it should be a bit more since transgender people, their suicide rates are significantly higher than people.
It shouldn't be a bit more for them. They're just like everybody else.
Their suicide rates are significantly more higher.
They're just like everybody else.
Suicide rates are significant.
You could say that with race too. You could say that with race too. That doesn't mean that yes, you could say that with race too. That doesn't mean that all of a sudden a different race should have to have a different Also, Amber, no one can hear you.
Has significantly higher suicide rates.
Amber, no one can hear you. I can't hear her. Oh, did she leave? Amber, you're muted. Wait, no one can hear you.
Me?
Yeah, you were no, I couldn't hear you at all.
Okay, I'll go back through it again. Sorry, I think my audio changed from my computer.
Where did the girl go?
Oh, Age?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, did I mute you?
Wait. All right, we're good.
Okay, sorry. Sorry, what was I saying? Oh, I said, why is it that trans people and gay people have a higher suicide rate? It's not because they're gay or trans. That's not inherently the reason why. Causation is not equal correlation. It has to do with the fact that people are being stressed for being trans and gay. We're not saying that trans people should not. Oh gosh, I'm sorry.
Now, are you talking in the state of bullying, or are you talking? Or I want to ask this: are you talking morally in the state of bullying, or I want to see where you're mainly getting from with that.
Yeah, for sure. The reason that trans people have a higher suicide rate is due to many factors, not just the fact that they have gender dysphoria. It has to do with the fact that they are not being socially accepted. Most of the time, they're not being accepted by their family, and they're being bullied in school at higher rates, and they are being stripped of basic privileges that everyone should have.
Yeah.
So that's yeah. Sorry, continue.
Yeah, it's just morally about the fact is that they have way higher suicide rates than anyone. And I don't believe that. And plus, if they come back and in the military, when you join the military, not all people who join the military do, but a lot of people have PTSD from it. such as, I mean, my dad, he didn't have PTSD, but some people who do join the military, they end up having PTSD, which obviously could be more of a significant factor in people who do have depression.
Agreed. I do think that we should have background checks for mental health.
PTSD is horrible.
Yeah.
Hey, I gotta get off, guys. I hope you can find common ground or something, but I gotta get off.
Yeah.
All
Sure.
right. Well, yeah. Let's real quick just find common ground on that since Eli has to go.
But yeah, like I'm gonna wrap up with one final point. Like I was saying, before, I'm gonna just put this out there again, the science thing. It has been proven through science that sex and gender are not interchangeable. Sex, it has to do with what's in your pants on a chromosomal level, and you cannot change that. Gender has to do with what is going on in your brain, not what you think, not how you feel. Literally, with the chemicals going on inside your brain, and the genes that have to correlate to said chemicals going on inside your brain. And so that's just the end of my thing. And the common ground for the trans people, we believe that they should be able to join the military with a stricter mental health check.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And Eli?
I think they should be able to join just with a stricter mental health background check, and at a certain extent, I think.
Okay. Good deal. And
Yeah.
I don't know. I think Sophie. I don't know where Sophie is.
Yeah, I'm here.
All right. Well, it was really nice debating you guys. I obviously got to fact check myself and do a bit more research on this. That I was pretty pro since I've won debates on this before, but you guys are just way too pro for me. But yeah, I've definitely got to work on that. But it was nice debating you guys. It really was.
Yeah, you too.
Yeah, you as well, both of you.
Yeah. All right. You guys have a good one. It was nice.
Amber, do you want to stay on here and do Q&A with people?
Yeah, that's what I was gonna do.
Good night, Vietnam.
Good night, guys.
Good night.
Okay, hey.